Prosperous Thames Water's private equity buyer sends bills soaring in the UK and the US. Going to read into this more from Bayonne Times, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from Bayonne Times with the headline that Prosperous Thames Water private equity buyer sends bills soaring in the UK and the US. Campaigners said the preferred buyer of the failing UK water firm has a record of rampant profiteering and financial abuse of service users on both sides of the Atlantic. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. Nationalise our water companies. I could not emphasize this more than enough. These private companies only care about one thing, and I've said this before and I've said this again, and that is only about profit. They don't care about your water. They don't care about your problems. They don't care how high your bills are. All to the number one priority for them is about making profit. And this company that's looking like it may or may not at the time of this recording be buying Thames Water, their intention is to rack up as much profit as they can off the backs of ordinary people. They don't care about you. They don't care about your water. They don't care if it leaks, if your water starts leaking brown. They will only fix it as much as they need to. They will do the bare minimum. Or if they do decide to make water infrastructure and make water better for us, they're going to make sure that they make in a huge amount of profit at the expense of us, taxpayers. We need to stop relying on the private sector when it comes to our water. Our water is something that we rely on. It's what we need. It's what we drink literally every single day. It is essential to all of us. We need water to goddamn live. And we're putting our water, UK water, in the hands of private companies. How is this okay? How is this allowed? Why are we not pushing more for this? Why is the government allowing this? It's wrong. You know it's wrong. I know it's wrong. It should not be happening. And it's shameful. It's shameful that both the Conservatives and Labour are missing the point here. And go ahead and you can bash all you want in the comments about the debts that are being there. But there are ways to get past that debt. There are ways to get round that debt. Yeah, so that taxpayers are not paying it off. But quite frankly, let's be clear. There were no debts here when they were nationalised. When they were under national control, when they were controlled by the state. There was no debts. The private companies have intentionally left these debts. And we're getting massive water bills this year from all these water companies, supposedly to fix our water system, which they've never bothered fixing. Thames Water's preferred investor, KKR, previously signed a deal to manage the US multinational water company in Bayonne, New Jersey, which sent bills soaring and has been described by residents of the city as drowning us. On Monday, Thames Water, the UK's biggest water supplier, which has been struggling under mounting debt, announced the American private company firm KKR as its preferred buyer in a bid to prevent nationalisation. KKR is expected to acquire a stake of around $4 billion in Thames Water. While KKR has some experience managing water companies both in the UK and the US, the company has not always left customers happy. In 2012, the New Jersey city of Bayonne signed a deal with KKR and Suez to manage their multinational water system, which was in dire need of repairs to its crumbling infrastructure. In 2016, the New York Times reported that those crusty brown pipes had been replaced by shiny cobalt-blue ones. But this came with a hefty price tag, not just to pay for new pipes, but also to help the investors earn a nice return. The deal the financially desperately city signed with KKR and Suez guaranteed the company a return of over $500 million over 40 years. However, water rates rose 28% between the signing of the deal in 2012 and 2016 and continued to rise afterwards. The deal promised residents for a 4-year freeze on water rates, which never materialised because of the revenue guarantee. KKR sold its shares in Bayonne Water Company to Agro in 2018, making a return of 2.8 times the amount invested, though the deal signed alongside Suez remains in place. The company has a record of overseeing price rises and allegations of sewage dumping in the UK. At Prime Minister's Question Time on Wednesday, Liberal Democrat leader Ed Davey criticised Keir Starmer's refusal to bring Thames Water into special administration while raising KKR's previous investment in Northumbrian Water. He said 3 years ago, the American private equity firm KKR bought a 25% stake in Northumbrian Water. Since then, people across the northeast have seen their water bills soar, while last year alone, Northumbria Water has dumped nearly 1 million tonnes of raw sewage into Durham's Welburn coastal conservation area. Davey asked if Starmer would guarantee that Thames Water would not be allowed to pull the same trick of raising bills and dumping raw sewage at the same time. Matthew Thompson of the campaign group We Own It told Byline Times that KKR inspired a book and film called Barbarians at the Gate precisely because of its rampant profiteering and financial abuse of service users, so we know it is completely ill-suited to delivering a public service that works in the interest of its users and the environment. KKR claims to have moved beyond its asset-stripping past in a 2019 Forbes article, Times Gentleman at the Gate. Henry Carres, one of its co-founders, stated, "You can't buy a company and strip out all the costs. It's not a sustainable business model. If you're not putting money back in to come up with new products, new plants, and new ways of doing business in new geographies, you'll die eventually." In July last year, KKR bought Fiber Corp from Telecom Italia, the major Italian telecom network. In September 2024, Fiber Corp announced that they were cutting 1,300 jobs through a voluntary redundant scheme. In January, the CEO of Fiber Corp, Luigi Ferris, quit the company with no explanation given by Fiber Corp, following a tense board meeting in which the CEO disclosed that 2025 pre-tax earnings would be €449 million lower than initially forecast in KKR's original business plan. You're seeing something here, aren't you? The financial situation of Fiber Corp under KKR's tenure has Italian trade unions worried. Daniele Carlos of SCL, the CGIL, the Italian Communication Worker Union, told Byline Times that Ferrari's quit due to contrast in Prospective with KKR, and that when KKR bought the company, it was expected to result in a series of investments in new technology and widespread coverage of fiber optics, and therefore a 3-year postponement for the first dividends. But apparently KKR has no intention of waiting 3 years for profit distribution. He added that among the unions, the concern is starting to increase considering the reasons for the CEO's resignation and the rumours of redundancies. Tottenham told Byline Times that references to gentlemen at the gate and the change KKR were just boilerplate stuff that were put over the same model. It has literally not changed for 40 years because of how legal corporations is structured. Because of how the regulatory system is structured, they just have to prioritise returns to shareholders and to capital more widely over the interest of service users. Byline Times asked Thames Water if KKR had given them assurances about job cuts and proposed a deal that would be fair to the consumer. Thames Water suggested Byline Times direct those questions toward KKR. KKR did not respond to a request for comment. Asked if they thought KKR was an appropriate buyer, a UK government spokesperson said, "The company remains stable and the government is closely monitoring the situation. It would be inappropriate to comment further on the financial matters of a private company." Well, this tells you a lot about KKR right here. You have multiple stories of KKR both in America, in the UK, and here and there in Italy as well about their dealings. That tells you everything you need to know. Their number one priority is appeasing their shareholders, appeasing their profits, and that they will take whatever measures they need to take. They're literally cutting people out of a job in Italy over that fiber company. They will do the same to Thames Water. Like if you're working for Thames Water and this company takes over, you will get cut. Our water companies need to be brought back into national hands. It needs to happen. This change needs to happen. We need to pressure this government more into doing it. More needs to be done to do this, to protect our environment, to protect our way of life, to protect nature, and to protect our water. Because we won't have water if we continue to allow this to happen. We may be surrounded by it, but it ain't going to be clean water. So guys, what do you make of this story? What do you make of Thames Water possibly being bought by KKR, given the evidence that we have seen in the article on this? Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comments section below. If you found this video informative or helpful to you, hit that like button, share across social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the join button down below to join the memberships for as little as 99p. Get access to custom emojis, early access to additional content plus more. And you can also check out the Rumble and Patreon content for exclusive content on those platforms as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.